Thunder Bay area election candidates take questions from those in the agriculture field. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Area farmers got the chance to have an open dialogue with some of the candidates from Thunder Bay's 2 federal ridings. The election is on April 28th, and the timing of the campaign lined up well with the annual Spring Farm Conference. Justin Hardy was at the forum and joins us in studio. Justin, what is top of mind for our farmers?
Ryan, they want to know what each party is going to do for their industry. Topics range from farming regulations to the future of our local port. But what seemed to be the most important to farmers is that the candidates took the time to show up. Organizers say the industry is very old-fashioned and they appreciate the ability to meet their candidates face-to-face.
In person and a handshake is what resonates in agriculture.
The audience was packed for the Farmers Candidate Forum held on the final day of the annual Spring Farm Conference. Federal candidates from both Thunder Bay ridings were in attendance to meet and answer questions from local farmers. The questions included topics like the carbon tax, beef processing regulations, and the future of the port in Thunder Bay. We spoke to the Thunder Bay Rainy River candidates who attended the forum, and they all agreed it's important to take opportunities like this to build relationships with constituents.
Whether it's knocking on doors or forums like this, listening to people. Some of them agree with us, some of them don't agree with us, but I think if you're the elected representative, you should be listening to everybody.
It doesn't matter what political stripe you are, if you're red, brown, blue, or purple, it is so important to have that conversation and to have a respectful conversation. And, you know, if we have respect as the bottom line, we can move forward with that.
I think not only the one-on-ones, but also to be able to bring forward a bit of the platform, to be able to contrast and listen to what the other parties are saying as well, and make sure that, you know, they are being held accountable.
Notably absent from the Farmers Forum were the candidates from the Green and Conservative parties. Thunder Bay Soil and Crop Improvement Association Director Jason Reed says that what many in the agricultural industry want to see is someone who will meet them at their level.
I think you can really see a dedication and a concern for the agriculture industry by who was available and made themselves available to be here today. I think being here is very important to be able to make that face-to-face contact and be able to sit down over lunch now and have the discussions. And really, in agriculture, we're an old-fashioned industry. We're old-fashioned people. That's the way things get done. We make deals with a handshake and a smile and word of mouth. And so that's the way the agriculture industry runs across Canada.
The Thunder Bay Rainy River candidates have also been invited to another forum in Fort Frances on April 12th. Justin Hardy, TBT News.
Candidates in Thunder Bay Superior North. Former City Police Chief Bob Herman is making his first run at politics representing the Conservative Party. Herman feels his experience dealing with upper levels of government will make him an effective MP in Ottawa. Jonathan Wilson has tonight's candidate profile.
Bob Herman has been very busy so far in this election campaign, getting to know the people around the vast riding of Thunder Bay Superior North and making sure his message gets out about why he's seeking the support of the riding's voters. Herman explains why he decided to enter the race.
Well, I mean, for the last 10 years, I've watched as life has become harder and harder for the average Canadian. I mean, the cost of living is really out of control. You know, people in their 20s and 30s can't afford to buy a house because the ability to do so is just impossible right now. And I just decided to do something about it. You know, I don't think anybody elected a Liberal government with a mandate to double our debt, to increase our cost of living, to let crime get out of control.
Herman says the Conservative Party has a lot to offer the Northwest, with plans to improve home affordability and quality of life issues, along with bringing better health care to rural areas. But his main priority, if elected, is jobs and the economy.
Economic development has to be the #1 priority for this area and this region. The Conservative plan is to fast-track economic development. We live in a mineral-rich area of the country. For example, in Marathon, Generation X has a potential mine that will create 400 jobs. That's going to be a boom for Marathon. Ring of Fire would be a boom for the rest of the communities in our riding.
Herman spent 32 years on the Thunder Bay Police Force, including 11 years as police chief. After his retirement in 2011, Herman served as a deputy police chief and then as acting chief of the Nishnawbe-Aski Police Service before spending the past decade in retirement. Herman says that life experience is just one thing that sets him apart from the other candidates running in Thunder Bay Superior North.
I mean, I was the chief of 2 major police services in Northern Ontario. I did that for a number of years. I've dealt with government at all levels. I've dealt with both the provincial government and the federal government. I've sat face to face with ministers bringing issues to the table. So I do understand how government works. I think with my, opponent, the Liberal candidate for this area, that I wasn't at the table for the last 10 years when a lot of bad policy decisions were being made that have brought us to the state in this country that we are now. So I think I'm bringing a fresh look to it, and I think change will be good for this riding.
Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
Next week, we'll hear from the candidates in Thunder Bay Rainy River. Highway 17 east of Ignace was completely closed for about 2 hours this morning after a transport truck lost control and settled partially in the ditch. Northwest Region OPP say it happened just before 6 a.m. between English River and Ignace. Police say the transport driver missed the corner, crashed, and subsequently blocked both lanes of the highway. There were no injuries, and OPP say it doesn't appear that any other vehicles were involved. The driver, a 31-year-old man from Winkler, Manitoba, has been charged with careless driving. The highway reopened around 8 o'clock this morning. Premier Doug Ford hosted the governor of the state of Utah at Queen's Park today. Trade topped the discussion amid all of the tariff developments. CTV's Siobhan Morris brings us the details.
The great governor, Governor Cox.
The premier welcoming the governor of Utah for a meeting on trade. The leaders found common ground on where America's economic ire should be focused.
We agree that China is a problem.
The Republican governor says he understands the sense of betrayal Canadians feel from the U.S., with talks of annexation and financial force.
It's more than economics for me. Those friendships are deep. Those ties are deep.
He hopes this topsy-turvy period will result in trade barriers being dropped all over the world.
I believe in the importance of free trade, again, especially with our Canadian partners.
Pushing for the removal of tariffs on this country.
I have a great relationship with President Trump, and those are conversations that are ongoing.
For the premier, having an ally in a Republican governor.
It is critical. The governors have massive power down there.
Ontario is also putting pressure on the American administration to cool it with a plan to tariff some auto parts on May 3rd.
The screws that are used, there's Canadian steel, but the screw is made in the U.S. It's shipped back and bolted on. It's very, very complicated.
Urging the U.S. not to hem and haw.
It's putting a chill on business. Make a decision, and the decision, quite frankly, should be we're not building things for each other, we're building things with each other.
That spirit of cooperation reflected in a new pin on the Premier's lapel.
Just want to show him respect.
With the flags of the U.S., Canada, and Ontario on his chest, there's tentative optimism from Doug Ford.
We'll get through this and get back to normality, if there ever is normality.
CTV Siobhan Morris reporting. Nipigon OPP have charged one person with stunt driving for allegedly going nearly double the speed limit on the highway near Red Rock last night. It happened around 9:30. OPP say the officer on patrol spotted a vehicle traveling at a high speed on Highway 1117, and that driver was found to be going 178 kilometers an hour in a 90K zone. A 31-year-old man from Scarborough has been charged with stunt driving. He was slapped with an immediate 30-day license suspension and a 14-day vehicle impoundment. Magnus Theatre is presenting its final main stage production of the 2024-25 season. Women of the Fur Trade is a thought-provoking comedy that brings a fresh perspective to 19th century Canada. Ryan Graham brings us this sneak peek.
Our way of life can still be saved, and we can all be friends and trade furs forever.
Women of the Fur Trade is a comedic play that follows 3 women navigating love, politics, and gossip in the 19th century Red River area of Manitoba, while historical figures Louis Riel and Thomas Scott loom in the background. Co-director Amy Sellers explains more.
This play is a fantastic conversation between 3 amazing women about a very interesting period in time. Now, that makes it sound a bit like it's a history lesson, but I assure you that it is not. While we are talking about Louis Riel, we are talking about it in a contemporary modern context with 3 very modern, contemporary, sassy, strong women.
Richard Como not only acts in the play, taking on the iconic role of Louis Riel, but he is also making his directorial debut as the play's co-director. He's excited to see this important story come to life on stage, as it brings a broader context to history of the Indigenous community.
Indigenous peoples, we've always felt that, and we've always believed that comedy is our way of life. It's a really important part of our lives, and it's a really important coping mechanism as well. Because although we talk about a lot of important issues that are tragic within Canadian culture and Canadian history, it's great to be able to bring life and humor into these kinds of conversations.
The play mixes sharp humor with contemporary sensibilities. One of the stars of the show, Grace LaMarche, spoke to the joy of being part of such a special production.
Exactly. Why marriage? That's not fun. I'm having a great time. Because I'm not like you, Eugenia. I can't just leave this fort whenever I want. I can't trap, I can't hunt, I can't take care of myself.
This show is all about women and female empowerment, and to be able to have such an awesome relationship with the women in the show as well, it just adds that extra layer of sweetness onto what this job entails, which is amazing.
Women of the Fur Trade has its gala opening on Friday night and runs until April 26 at Magnus Theatre. Ryan Graham, TBT News.
All right, well, let's turn our attention to the weather now. And Fiona, it is finally starting to feel a little bit like spring. It got a little warmer today than we were expecting.
Yeah, we got a couple of extra degrees out of our daytime high, which is always a nice thing, especially when folks like yourself are dying to see the green grass come out from underneath the snow. I say any week where we're not shoveling out after another snowstorm is a good week, because we had 3 in a row, and this day 1 week ago, that's what a lot of us were doing, was shoveling. So no need to shovel today. We had a low of -5. Wind chills were almost non-existent, -7. But we warmed up to 6 Celsius. We had mostly cloudy skies to start, but the sun just kept beating through those clouds, and it's all in all just a beautiful day. Winds very light from the east. Now, if we take a look at what's going on across the region at this time, Fort Frances never actually got below freezing last night. So for over 24 hours now, they've been on the plus side of temperatures, currently at a high of 9. Dryden matching that. We've got double digits in Kenora and Upsala at 10. Red Lake, 7 Celsius, and last night was a cool night, -8, but during the day, temperatures shot up 20 degrees, and they actually had a high of 11. Pickle Lake currently at that, and we've got a fair amount of sunshine, just a few clouds popping up into Armstrong and Greenstone, where they also saw temperatures rise 21 degrees from their overnight low last night, so they're enjoying that. Still a little bit cool along the North Shore and the northeastern shores of Lake Superior, just 3 in Marathon and Wawa at this time, and it really didn't get much warmer than that. Sault Ste. Marie currently at 6, and that's a nice seasonal temperature under partly cloudy skies. Here in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, we are going to see temperatures pretty similar to last night. A low of -6, wind chills could feel up to about -9, partly cloudy skies, and by morning you could start the day under a few fog patches, but don't let that worry you. I know a lot of folks have plans for the weekend, so let's take a little bit of a sneak peek on what is to come. We've got sunshine and double digits to end the work week. Yes, that's right, on Friday we are going to be above 10 Celsius and loads of sunshine. You might want to play hooky that day. Don't tell your boss I said that, because we've got gray skies moving in for Saturday. Temperatures are going to remain very seasonal, very nice, but it's going to be a gray day on Saturday, and by Sunday we could be looking for showers. Ryan, I know that's not necessarily the best news, but there's no snow.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep saying that no matter what anybody complains to me. I'm just going to remind them there's no snow.
That is really all I care about right now.
Yet.
Oh.
I'll have more details later on.
Well, way to end it on a downer there. Okay.